everyone! For ages I have wanted to make a video about what some people refer to as the butterfly effect, but what I prefer to call the ripple effect. That is the idea that all of our actions are likely to cause ripples that affect the course of our life and perhaps even the lives of people around us. For example, you might be really tired one day and you get on the wrong bus home from work because you're sleepy and you're not really noticing what one you're getting on. But you might end up sitting next to somebody who you get chatting to, and it turns out they work in your dream career, and it just so happens that there is an opening at their organisation, and that person may think, okay, I like the cut of your jib, I'm gonna give you my number and I'm gonna see if I can get you an interview. And you might actually go and get that interview, and you might get the job, and suddenly 6 to 12 months down the line you find yourself in this dream job that you've always wanted, earning way more money than you ever have before, to the point that you're able to put down a deposit on your first ever house, and you move to a new neighbourhood where you make a load of new friends and you start a load of new hobbies, and your life is just completely different to where it was a year ago. Technically, all because you got the wrong bus one day. That small, seemingly insignificant action caused all these ripples in your life. I guess the biggest example of a ripple effect in my life is the day that one of my work colleagues said to me, "Do you fancy going on this singing course with me? You like singing, you've been a bit down. I thought it might cheer you up. It's a 5-week course. Who knows, it might be fun." And I wasn't really in a place where I wanted to go out and meet people. I was feeling quite low, as mentioned, but I decided, I do love to sing. Yeah, sure, I'll go. And that small decision to go to that singing course led me to meet Leslie. It led me to join More Harmony, who I sing with now, and it led me to become the chair of that chorus and to start studying to be the assistant director of that chorus. It gave me opportunities singing in various different places, even going to Germany to sing at a theatre in front of hundreds of people, all because I just casually went, yeah, okay. Now, this is not an attempt to get you to say yes to everything you're offered, because goodness knows, sometimes saying no is the right thing to do. Hey, do you want to come over to next door? My neighbour has found a dead rat in his garden and he's going to dissect it and then he's going to barbecue it and we're all going to try a piece. I would really love to, but I'm busy. The fact is, we never know what small, seemingly insignificant thing we could do or say that might alter the course of our whole lives. That's a pretty massive concept. And if we think about it too much, I guess it can be scary, because it means that we don't have a huge amount of control over this ripple that can occur. But the one thing we do have some control over is how we cause ripples in other people's lives. The things that we say or do can have a knock-on effect on the people around us. And whilst none of us are saints, and we have almost all certainly done or said things that have had a negative impact on the people we know, we can take steps to try and make sure that the only ripples we cause for other people are positive ones. That's a ripple. Go with it. So yeah, I guess I'm saying, think about what you say in response to people. Think about the things that you do that might impact other people. I know I'm a big old woke lefty and some people will think I'm a terrible, terrible snowflake, but I think it's really easy to actually take those few seconds to think about other people when we say or do things. You know, that's just how to be a decent human being, I think. But what do I know? Of course, sometimes we are creating ripples without even being aware of it. For example, my last relationship was abusive, and when I came out of it, I needed a lot of support from an abuse charity, from my friends and family, and it took me a really long time to rebuild myself. And one of the things I've always done is talk really openly about stuff, whether it's really good things that have happened in my life or really bad things. And before I started YouTube, would write everything down. I blogged. I still occasionally blog. I should probably do more of it. But at the time, I blogged pretty much exclusively. And I wrote lots of blogs about the different kinds of abuse that happen in relationships, not just romantic ones, but all forms of relationships, how to spot the signs and how to get help if you need to. And I think really the best possible thing that I thought could come from me being open and honest about what happened to me was that A, I might find it cathartic, and that B, somebody who was just at the very start of a relationship that was showing some red flags might recognize those red flags and walk away before it got too far. So I was quite surprised when I had this beautiful letter sent to me from someone who had been reading my blogs and had recognized that a family member was in a very long-term, very badly abusive relationship. And she used my blogs to help this family member get out of that relationship. I still have that letter somewhere in a box, and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe just some writing on the internet that I did helped someone that much. And that's not me trying to be like humble brag, but genuinely it made me realize how much effect we can have on other people's lives without even realizing it. So I do try to always make sure that any ripples I make, why am I doing it like this? This is so weird. Anyway, any ripples I make are hopefully positive ones. That said, as much as I believe in this ripple effect, I also am a big believer that we are not responsible for other people's actions. As much as things that we say or do might have a knock-on effect on other people, they are in control of how they choose to respond. What are you reading? Isn't this that really angry looking guy that you didn't hold the door open for yesterday?
Oh yeah. Why is he on the news?
Well, apparently he went home and murdered his entire family.
Because he was mad at me?
Maybe? I just find it fascinating that life is full of these ripples. I have got to stop doing it like this. It is weird. What is wrong with me? So many of us can trace back something massive in our lives to some really seemingly insignificant moment that led us to there. Whether it's something negative at the time turning into something amazing, like you might get made redundant from your job and you're feeling really miserable and you start a new job only to meet the love of your life on your first day there. Some people call this phenomenon fate. Now, I'm less keen on that phrase because to me the idea of fate means that you were supposed to be here at this time. You were supposed to say yes to this thing. You were supposed to get on the wrong bus. And it implies that if you hadn't done those things, then nothing would have happened. Not just the good thing wouldn't have happened, but there would have been no ripple whatsoever. And I disagree with that. I think if you had turned right, that's left. Oh dear, I'm tired. If you had turned right instead of left, you might not have walked into the situation that changed your entire life in this particular manner, but you might have walked into a different situation that changed your life in a different way. What I'm trying to say is there would still be ripples caused from your tiny, seemingly insignificant decision. They would just be different ripples. I guess all we can do is try not to be freaked out by the idea that every small action we make or word we speak could have drastic life-changing consequences, because that's a bit heavy. I suppose we just have to be open to the fact that the small moments can be the moments that end up changing everything. Just like me saying yes to going to that singing course all those years ago. Have you ever had a chance encounter or made a random decision that's changed everything? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. You can click on my floaty head if you would like to subscribe, and last week's video is over there. I'll talk to you next week. Take care. Bye.